Welcome to More For Me by yours truly, Kat Necole. What up, homie? What's going on with you? I pray that all is well. What's going on with me? Things are pretty good this week. Was feeling a little under the weather, but I'm on the mend and I am still glad to be here with you in the studio. If this is your first time, welcome. A very special welcome to you. If this is not your first time, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Either way, it is a privilege and an honor to join you here in the studio. So let's get into it. More for me. What's this all about? Well, more for me is this idea, this truth, the reality that I believe that God has more for me in this life. But the great news is that He has more for you as well. And so we come here every week and we talk about my experiences. I basically reflect upon the past, but I also kind of talk about how I'm navigating the waters of life in the present, looking at the hurdles that I'm having to to get over. Some of them I'm knocking down, the struggles of life, but also the victories and the things that I'm learning that are helping me succeed and move forward along on my journey. And my journey is towards a destination of more that God has for me and for you too, right? More for me, more for you. But I believe that God has more for every single one of us in this life, more than you can imagine, think, or you could ever believe, like your wildest dreams, whatever that is. God genuinely has more for you in this life. And it's not all about material things, right? But in this life and thereafter, that we would enjoy and have an eternity of great peace and just amazing goodness in His presence. So that's what things are about here. So we dig into episodes every week, and sometimes there's rainbow and sunshine and lollipops, and other times it's valleys and potholes. You get a blowout on the side of the road. So everything isn't good. But as long as you're rolling with God, I've found that everything is good. So let's get into this week. If you've been tracking along for us for any amount of time here recently, we've kind of had some challenging moments. That struggle I was just talking about. But if you haven't, of course, I invite you to go back and listen to the previous episodes. They are definitely there for the taking. Enjoy them, indulge. You can binge listen and or get a little bit here, a little bit more there. But definitely go ahead and enjoy those episodes. But let's see what's some of the recent things that we talked about. Like wanting to quit. That was a thing, right? Things being out of control, stressed out and fed up, trying to figure out like, man, how did I get where I am in this kind of in this place in life? And so today I wanted to talk about how I believe that God can use anything. And yes, anyone, for sure, for sure. You probably have heard that God will use anyone, anyone. And it's not necessarily those that the world or society deems as very special, but that God is willing to use anyone, even someone like me. And that's a beautiful thing. But I really want to focus in on how God can use anything. I think that sometimes there can be an emphasis in life and maybe even sometimes on the show about uh, positive things and how doing things the right way, things work out well. And we basically are on the come up. It's all for the good when you do right. But the reality is that we don't always do right. And I've talked about that some, but I really want that to be the emphasis for today because the reality of life and situations are um, even when you make a wrong turn, uh, you veer off course. We talking about journey, and so you riding along the highway. Maybe you tumble over a guardrail or cross over the median, and you're sitting oncoming traffic. Like whatever it is, like God can and will literally use anything. Those are some pretty uh dangerous examples out there. It's kind of random. Maybe it's these little sniffles that got me thinking like that. But don't lose sight. Focus. God can and literally will use anything. I have found for myself that I will slow down. And not that slow down that we've talked about in the past, right? You want to slow down, take your time, reflect, and don't try to rush past, but to enjoy life and experience the moment and go through the process to truly experience it. Not that type of slow down, but I will like slow down like snail like slow, not moving, procrastinate, no progress, it is intentional. I was gonna say unintentional. It's intentional avoidance. I will slow down when there are times that I'm uncertain about the decision that I need to make and I don't want to do the wrong thing. And so you have that side of it, but then you just generally have that you just do something and find out it's wrong, you're in the wrong place. But that God can even use that. So for myself, I started thinking here because I know that the reality is sometimes we will mess up, but that God can still use our mess ups and turn that into something and to bless us with that. And I've seen it and experienced it before in my life where, I make a suboptimal decision, but God still gets glory out of it, that he still uses it and he doesn't forsake me. He's still right there with me. But then on the other side, for me personally, what I am living through and experiencing right now is how many times that I slow down to do nothing because I'm afraid to do the wrong thing. It was like legit, just fearful of doing the wrong thing. And this week, I've been toward the end of the week, reminding myself that if God can use anything, why am I afraid to do something? Let that sink in. If God can use anything, why am I afraid to do something? God can definitely use anything, but if I'm unwilling to be used, then how can he use me? And so in areas where I want to be perfect, be right, avoid correction, that I have to realistically take a step back and identify, hey, even as I talk right now, that you can't control all of these things, but what you can control is where you place your trust and your faith and your decision to obey, right? So if God tells me to do something, even if he doesn't give me the specific of turn right, he said, Catherine, you need to go forward. Well, I can't stand still because I'm being disobedient. I need to at least go forward. Now, if he says go to the right, go to the left, I want to try to do my best to go to the right or go to the left as he spoke. But when I have the direction as I have recently to move forward, if I stop moving or try to go backwards, your girl sometimes try to moonwalk herself out of things. So if I stop moving or try to go backwards, that's not a good look. That in order for God to use anything, I literally have to do something. So that's the word of encouragement today. It's for me, but I believe that it's definitely for you as well. If you're listening to this episode, or there might be somebody that you want to share this episode with for that specific thing, that God can use anything, whether you fumble, you fail, you feel like you crashed and burned, that God literally can use anything. He can turn it into something. He can get the glory out of anything, but you just have to be willing to be used. And for the rest of us, there's also God can only use anything, which means you have to do something. So be encouraged to just take those small steps forward in obedience and in faith, trusting God. Back to the Godfidence we talked about a few episodes ago, but having confidence in God of what he can and will do. And that even if we fall short, even if we don't come through like we envision in our minds, that there's still a plan in place and something at work, that God's going to get glory out of that situation, and that he can and he will use anything for his glory. So I am honored to be a part of the something, the someone that he uses. And I'm going to continue to press forward in faith, even when I am fearful of the outcome. And I know that I can't control exactly what's going to happen, but I'll continue to press. And I challenge you to do the exact same thing. That's it for this week. I want to thank you for tuning in to the episode. I pray that it blessed you. Like I said, if you want to share it with somebody else, they need to hear this word just to be reminded and encouraged that God can use anything. He definitely is willing to use anyone. That's each and every one of us, but that we must remember to do something so that God can use it. We want to continue to move forward and have confidence and faith and trust in God. I can't wait to meet you back here next week where we will be celebrating 1 year of being in this studio and kicking it with my homies. If you want to join the Homieship and continue to traverse this journey of life with me and allow for me to accompany you, I encourage you, I challenge you, I dare you to click the subscribe button or follow, whether on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. I would love to hang out with you every week, Tuesdays, whether for your eyes or your ears. Me and the homies will be right here. And another thing that you can do, you can share your thoughts about the show. whether the episode today or the show in general. I would love to hear what you're thinking and how this is blessing you, challenging you, or even if it's something that you want to hear a little twist up, thought about doing a musical for next week, but I'm pretty sure French is against that. Either way it go, I'll see you here next week, same time, same mode. And until we meet again, remember that God has more for me. God has more for you. Now let's get it. Take care.